I want to spend a few minutes now talking about preparation for competitions, predominantly the psychological preparation. Now, it's quite normal for somebody entering their first competition to feel that bit of anxiety, that bit of apprehension, the whole not knowing what to expect. And that is totally normal, and that's the whole purpose of us doing this video together. Alongside me, Ellie Pryor, Britain's only youth Olympian in the sport of Olympic weightlifting, and we're going to just chat a little bit and share with you how we would prepare for competition psychologically and how we would go about dealing with the nerves. So I'm going to throw it to Ellie pretty much straight away. Ellie, you've been competing since the age of 11 when you started training with me, and you're now 19.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about how you feel going into competitions.
I feel nervous, definitely. Okay. Anxious, but excited.
And when you say about nervous, how do you know it's nerves? What kind of feelings do you get? How do you know that you're nervous?
Sweaty hands.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Constantly like this.
Yeah. And yeah, just like what if it goes bad, or just worry.
Yeah, worry. It's a nice feeling or an unpleasant feeling?
Unpleasant.
Okay.
I like that.
You like that? And why do you like it? How have you learnt to? Because if it's an unpleasant feeling, most people would say you don't want to feel like that. But how do you like that now? Why has it become something that's desirable?
I like to push myself, and I thrive off that feeling.
Okay, so do you find that horrible feeling of feeling a bit nervous makes you perform better?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's basically adrenaline. Adrenaline is that stuff that runs around the body that gives you that boost. And we both have very similar experiences when it comes to competition. Neither of us can perform in training.
No. Neither
of us can hit our maximum weights in the gym. And whatever we both do in the gym, we can normally then hit more in comp. So tell me a bit about that. You know that you've got a competition coming up and you've got to be hitting these kind of numbers, but yet in training you can only get there. How does that make you feel?
Bit of both, really. Like, I know that I'm confident that I can hit those weights in comp, but then it's quite scary because I haven't hit them in training. It's, what if I can't do those in comp? But yeah, I don't know, I think if I can hit, say, 5 or 7 kilos under in training, then that gives me confidence that I can hit them in comp.
It's crazy, isn't it? Some of you probably watching this think, well, hang on a minute, don't you need to practice those weights in training to know that you can do it in comp? Do you ever get to those kind of numbers in training?
Not very often.
No. And I was the same. Going into competition, it would be normal for me to feel nervous, to feel anxious, to feel physically sick. And for me, it didn't get better throughout my career. It actually had the opposite effect. It got worse. Maybe because the level of competitions was that bit higher, or the pressure that I put on myself, or the pressure that other people put on me was that bit higher. And I think, yes, you become more experienced dealing with it, but it never goes away. The higher the level of competition, the more people watching, the more those nerves kick in. And for me, you got those sweaty palms on competition day. Dry mouth, I would find I could hardly talk. And the biggest problem I struggled with was just feeling physically sick. And I would genuinely wake up in the morning not knowing if I was just nervous or I'd actually come down with something and I was about to be sick. I was physically sick at competitions, but my coaches used to just ignore it and say, crack on. For me, that was how I performed at my best. And we talk about that feeling of butterflies and that uncomfortable, unpleasant feeling in your stomach. That's okay. That's a good thing. That is a sign that you've got adrenaline rushing through your system, and it's a sign that you're going to perform. The key is getting those butterflies to fly in formation. And I don't know about you, but I'd go onto a platform and a big competition now, and I put my hands on the bar and I could feel myself physically shaking. And you've got to switch on and let the technique take over. And that's really hard when you almost can't feel yourself. It's a bit of an out-of-body experience, I guess. So have you got any advice to people who are maybe involved in competition already and are struggling with the nerves, or somebody who's new to the sport and wants to get involved in a competition but is just a little bit too anxious and can't quite take that next step?
Yeah, I'd probably say try and take the nerves as a positive, and use the adrenaline. Yeah, I think just enjoy it, really.
And you know what? The one way I would take nerves out of the equation, or to rationalise the thought process, is to say, look, all you can do is your best. Prepare the best that you can in training. Prepare the best that you can going into competition, and what will be, will be. Nobody goes into competition to mess up on purpose. Just use that adrenaline as a positive and know that if you relax with it and focus on what you're doing, you can then lift those few more kilos on the platform. The weights will suddenly feel that little bit lighter. But as Ellie said, embrace that feeling of unpleasantness, of uncomfortableness. Step out of your comfort zone and give it a go. And I reckon once you've done one competition, you'll be hooked and want to do a whole load more. Thanks, Ellie, for sharing your experiences. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
We hope you've enjoyed.